It's Saturday morning cartoons. Now, yesterday, about 3 seconds in, my screen went wide yesterday. Yeah, I finished off our visit okay, but yeah, it went wide. And thanks to uh, a Facebook friend, okay, I don't know if I want to embarrass him. Uh, Otherwise, you'll all be contacting him for computer support. But anyway, uh, we updated and reloaded a bunch of things and went back and forth for about 4 hours total, and we fixed it. So I hope I haven't gone wide for you any more than me packing on a few more pounds here in life. So here we are for Saturday morning cartoons, and I've been going through my diaries of that retirement, magical retirement that I did a number of years ago. Uh, and I'm sure I just bored you to death with all the pranayama and the lotuses and all of that stuff. And I don't want to bore you anymore, but to open up my box of diaries, this other diary fell out, and it was kind of interesting because, as you know, let's see here if I can find it. As you know, uh, earlier this year, I was absolutely thrilled that the new edition of this, of the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, which is enjoying a level of popularity and sales and stuff, everything I wanted it to do, and very happy that it's an entity and something in my magic toolbox. But back in 1990 is when I had the idea of doing this. Okay, in 1990, I was I had literally been given a job, a wonderful job as a well, not quite given a job. Okay, it's hard. I've never gotten work in a normal way, or very few times. But I was found myself managing a small one man private ledger stock brokerage office, or a stockbroker. I was a stockbroker's butler. Beautiful office in South County. It was a pleasant drive every morning into it, and he was gone almost all the time, and so I had the office all to myself, all alone at the office. I could type up his letters and do his little marketing chores with just a few hours a day, and the rest of the time I was sitting there with all that creative office machinery, a beautiful copy machine that could reduce and enlarge and could make transparencies, and unlimited copy machine that could print cardstock. And I was a kid in a candy store. But anyway, I ran across this book while I was putting my diaries away. It says 1990 on it, and it opens up to say, The Little Red Book of Chairman Lon. And I started it on the last day of 1989. And it says, also see Green Book of the same period. that green book of the same period was my Emerald Tablet of Lon, which I did all of my work, my notes, my drafts of my Liber Samach, the Holy Guardian Angel thing. So the Green Book's very important. So, in other words, this is a pretty pivotal time in my life, okay? 1990, I was still a relative year, 48, 58, 68, 78, 88, I was 42. Yes, I still have to do that. And I wrote this. Okay, I actually I was held a pretty important administrative position in the OTO at the time. I had national duties as well as running Harura Hall Lodge. That's my so far so good. Adeo sat bene. That was my magical motto at the time. I had a stamp made up, and it says, and I heard this line from the 1929 silent film, The Phantom of the Opera, that said, "So far so good for a house with a curse on it," meaning the Paris Opera House. Okay. Anyway, well, it was still 1989, on New Year's Eve, Constance and me and Jean-Paul got in the car and took a tour of the houses we've lived in during our marriage and family life. Well, we couldn't go to Oregon because we spent 6 months there too, but we'd moved, we'd rented various places in Costa Mesa, even after Jean-Paul was born. So we thought in 1989 we'd take a little tour of all the places we'd live in Costa Mesa, and then we'd tell the story of why we were living there and what we did in those years and what Jean-Paul did and who his friends were, things like that. It gave us a good chance to relate to Jean-Paul in a chronological order our life as a family. Okay, this is what I kind of wanted to share. Okay, January 1st, 1990. Okay, Yi Ching, simply advice for 1990. That's a pretty big question, and the Yi Ching never does not answer with 100% accuracy, and very seldom are you able to interpret that accurate. That's how divinations go. But anyway, 1990 was a huge pivotal year. There was all sorts of intrigue and higher degree shenanigans going on in the sort of the newly expanding OTO, and of course Constance and I were in the thick of it. Not only that, but this class that I had started in 1978 or 1979 is starting to become a real important thing in our lives, because this was how I was learning magic, by teaching magic. Okay, so I'm going to share it with you, and for the Yi Ching that I'm going to use the Yi Ching of Milo, which is my own paraphrasing, if you will. There, the Yi Ching of Milo. You can find that in the Book of Ordinary Oracles. It's my paraphrasing of the Wilhelm Baines, which is my really, truly favorite Wilhelm Baines Yi Ching with an introduction by Carl Jung. But it's like my own words, my own thoughts, my own interpretations years later. So this was published in, let's see, when did I write this? This was published in 2005. So like 14 years later, 15 years later, I wrote this. And that's another wonder. That's the magic of keeping diaries, or at least keeping diaries through pivotal, landmark periods of your life, because time flows, okay, but it's always an eternal now. So when you're reading your diary, a new person is reading the diary than the person that wrote it, and everything in between. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, January 1st, 1991, Yi Ching, advice for 1990. 35, hexagram 35, with the moving line in the fourth place. So that changes it to hexagram 23. So the answer is a three-part answer. First, the main text of 35, and then there's a specific comment for the moving line. And then when that moving line flips to its opposite, it creates a second hexagram, and that's 23 in this case. And that's the third part of your answer. Okay. So, advice for 1990, first of all, 35, which is progress. And Milo's interpretation is progress, promotion, honor, a raise. You're a bright boy or girl. Your boss is hip and pulls you up the corporate ladder. Well, first of all, spoiler alert, yeah, that happened. Progress was made. Oh, there's periods of unemployment and struggling with stuff, because I'm still dealing with a certain disability. But I get this great job as a office manager of a little stockbroker. Okay, progress. Okay, your boss is hip and pulls you up the corporate ladder, which is exactly what would happen. Okay, that's part one. And I had no idea what lay ahead of me this year. 35. Okay, you're a bright boy. I love that. In the fourth place, moving line in the fourth place, it says, in times like these, even dishonest jerks can get rich. Remember, I'm working for a stockbroker. In times like this, or I will be, in times like this, even dishonest jerks can get rich. You stay clean, and they'll get busted. Okay, I'll really have to analyze my year to see the profundity of that one. But then it changes to 23, which you're almost never happy to see 23 come out, because it's called splitting apart. Collapse. The jerks are about to take over completely. Don't move. Don't act. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you should do. Now that makes a certain amount of personal sense to me concerning the intrigues of the political intrigues of the organizations that I was involved in, but it also might be relative to the fact that the Bush administration was there was trouble brewing. Iraq to Kuwait, all of that stuff. Nationally, and Constance and I do keep up with national and international news and events. Jerks and assholes were indeed taking over. But that being said, that was January 1st. January 17th, I was alone all day at the office, so every time I took a break, I did the pentagram ritual, banishing, I guess, four in all, and a banishing hexagram. So I was creating and preparing and building up that office as my temple working space. And here on the 18th, I did pentagram rituals, hexagram rituals, and the supreme ritual of the pentagram at work. Here's notes and things that I've drawn concerning the with capes and things like that for certain OTO initiations. But no need for me to share that with you. Here is what I wanted to show you. And it starts with some drawings that I'd made. And I think I've got to find exactly where I started. Excuse me. Maybe I won't be able to. First set of blank cards. Okay. Here it is. Pages stuck together. Don't get any ideas. Not that kind of magic. The correct tarot of Lon, ? February 11th, 1990. Since mid-January, I've been obsessed with the creation of a personal tarot deck. I purchased 600 blank filing cards and borrowed the hand stamp from the office. I have no interest at this moment in the court cards or major arcana. I feel I need to start with the 36 small cards and study the 36 decans of the zodiac and how they correspond with 1, the Enochian Grand Cross, 2, of the elemental tablets, 2, the pairs of Goetic spirits, 3, perhaps the pairs of angels ruling from the Shemhamfarash, 4, the appropriate days of the year that they cover. Made a good copy of my first degree or my neophyte panticle, and you know what that looks like. Okay, I'm not gonna, with the 4 trees of life that's on display at the Buckland Museum. Made a good copy of my first degree neophyte panticle and have used it for the ace of pentacles. Maybe I can even quickly find it for you. Let's see here. Maybe I can. And maybe I can't. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. So I made this image right there as the pattern for all of the discs. You'll see here all of the discs. The Queen of Discs holds that pentacle. Okay. So you kind of see what I'm getting at. Made a good copy on the copy machine, okay, of my first degree neophyte pentacle and have used it for the Ace of Pentacles discs and reductions for the remainder of the small disc cards. And of course, this is all just in total black and white. Everything, all the drawings are in black and white, just black and white outlines, including the Enochian tablets, because I didn't have a color printer. And even if I did, the reproduction headaches, these cards were going to have to be hand painted by you-know-who. Okay. I don't think she knew it at the time. Okay. The weekend of the 10th and 11th, I painted the Ace of Discs. Now this is, at first, my own. I didn't plan on publishing this or anything else. Painted the Ace of Discs, 2 of Discs, 3 of Discs works. It's very difficult to redo several times. Pretty difficult. Had to redo several times. First time of the 3 of Discs, all of the teeth of the 3 cogs were touching. They couldn't move. It was a machine that couldn't move. So I said, that's not a good 3 of Discs. So anyway, making the machine unworkable, had to redo. 4 of Discs, power, 5 of Discs, work, or worry, 7 of Discs, failure, etc., etc. I did the same with the 3 types of cups. I found a cup in Constance's Roman Catholic Missal, a good drawing of it. These were not photocopied from the Missal, but I copied it by hand, then photo reduced and duplicated, and I did the same thing with swords, only I used the classic Golden Dawn or Masonic ceremonial sword. Were all hand-drawn directly on the cards. On the 22nd of February, well, I note that I broke my glasses. Small cards finish with swords. Good night. I joke that all forms of human endeavor pale before the tarot of Lon. But it's not far from the truth. I don't know where the energy inspiration is coming from. Like when I built the Enochian boards, the cards seem to just want to be created more than I want to make them. That's my comments. Jean-Paul's birthday, February 28th. I just started working on the Devil card and there was a 5.5 earthquake. Okay. March 3rd. And this is probably where I'll leave it with us today. March 3rd, 8:30 p.m. The 0 degree OTO initiation of Jean-Paul DuQuette. He had just turned 18. Constance and me were the officers, and we were assisted by Leroy Lauer. Leroy, I hope you don't mind me mentioning you by name. Jane Richmond. Jane, I hope you don't mind me mentioning you by name. David Wilson. He's dead. But he would probably have objected me outing him like that. Then, are you listening? Steve Abbott was also assisting, and Hugo Anguiano. Hugo, I hope you're listening today. These are our dearest, most precious family friends in those days and always. They were at Jean Paul's Minerval initiation. And if you don't think a callous old fart like me can't get all misty over doing something, it was one of the greatest moments of my life and honor of my life, and perhaps one of the most magical things a person can do when you kind of understand what's going on. I found it really hard not to just completely break down and blubber. It was gorgeous. 3 days later, we did another Minerval initiation, and it went very well too, but it was nothing like that. And we did it in the backyard, outside, under the stars. Okay, on the 10th of March, the correct tarot of Lon now stands at all the small cards, all the knights, and queens. I actually started doing experimenting with designs for the Magus, Lovers, Devil, Tower, Hermit, Aeon, and the Wheel of Fortune. So I had 55 cards total at the moment. On the 19th, I actually then started to consider the Tarot of Lon to be published. It would be several years before that happened. Anyway, that's it for today. Before I put these diaries away, I wanted to share with you that. Believe me, before I put it away, I'm going to read about all those other things too, to jog my memory of why I'm the crazy person in the crazy situation I'm in right now. Anyway, that's it for Saturday morning cartoons. They were real life illustrations. Tomorrow will be Sunday school, and I'll put on my Sunday school propeller beanie thing. Okay. Until tomorrow. It's going to be 100. It was 112 in our backyard yesterday. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love and will.